What's up, everybody? It's another Sunday, and it's another Shaman Sunday. I am your host, Brandon Cooper. I hope the notifications went out for the show. I had the wrong time on it, and then I switched it. So I see we got 3 viewers, which I'm always thankful for any viewers that we get. But I do hope that the notifications went out because I got a really cool guest that I got to meet in person like last week. Awesome dude. And we'll get to that here in a second. Let's see who we got watching. We got Tabitha. Hello, Tabitha. Woohoo! Yes. I love it. Sunday. I thought about doing that, Tabitha. I really did. I thought about doing the Sunday. But, I guess I just did, didn't I? Russell, what's up, buddy? Before we get into everything, let's take a minute to pay the bills and let's talk about this week's sponsor. This week's sponsor is, let me flip to the other one, Gun Room Radio. Gun Room Radio, salute the sound where veterans rock and dreams take flight. I am a DJ with Gun Room Radio, and I'm also the, I guess I run the whole radio station now. I just right under the big guy. So a couple cool things about Gun Room Radio. We play nothing but veterans and their dependents music that are not signed. So we try to get our veterans out there. We've got a great mix. We've got our country station. We got the vet mix. And you can find me over here on Ranger Rockwave every Wednesday from 3 to 4:30 Eastern and some more. Come check us out. We've got a couple of hero stocks that we're supporting. You can check out our stations. Here's our merch right here. Wearing the old shirt. Also, it gives veterans a chance. They do podcasting and music writing and a lot of really cool stuff. Please check out Gun Room Radio and the rest of all the cool things that we have. If you'll notice right here, there's a donate button. We cannot do this without the help of you, the viewer, and the listener. So if you get a chance, come by, check it out. Some great rock, great country. And then the mix is pretty cool. Like if you're just riding, that's a good, oh my God, brain fart. Road trip. If you're on a road trip, that vet mix is pretty good. Anyway, Gun Room Radio. Please check it out. Let's get rid of that. I paid the bills. Don. Donald Dunn. He's the CEO. Paid the bills, Don. Oh, let's see here. Stacy. Well, the Reiki for Stacy. Okay, we got Thomas Wright. What's up, man? Who else we got? My dad says, well, hello, Mr. Reynolds. How are you, sir? Hello, Kim. Hello, Irene from Japan. Ohio gozaimasu. You're on a road trip now. I love it. I love road trips. Let's, before we kick in to high gear, I'm looking for my lighter is what I'm doing. I have lighters up here to light the sage. Let's light the sage. Let's get rid of all this crap, all this negativity from last week. Let's put this out there. Let's start this with really good positive energy. And it has been brought to my attention that we need lots of positivity here in the paranormal community because there's a lot of douchebags. I said it, douchebags out there that just want to ruin everything. And I would pull this picture up, however, I'm not going to. But there's a man named JC. He was just down at what was it? The Cajun Paracon down below Lafayette. This man is wearing a backpack with a human skull in the back of it with two femurs and a crossbone. He's selling tickets to his fake haunted museum. But let me tell you, anybody that has the audacity to have a human head in a backpack and walk around and try to sell you stuff, listen, JC, and I'm telling you this right now. If you come to the Deep South Paracomic-Con in Alabama in September, you and me going to have a chat. I've never seen so much disrespect for human remains in my entire life. So, JC, this is a warning, brother, because I got bail money. Anyway, now that I got that out of the way, y'all, this paranormal's turning crazy. But that's okay because we got great events. There's still great people. Each and every one of you in my tribe that are viewing right now are my kind of people. We don't put up with that stuff, and we stick together, and I love it. Thank you all for tuning in. You know what? We're just going to jump right into tonight's guest, Mr. Andy Andrews. I was able to meet him when I went up and hung out with Pam and Steve Barry of the Gettysburg Bash. This dude is awesome. Like, he had me cracking up. Usually it's my job to make people laugh. No. This dude's energy is off the charts. Amazing. He owns a shop. He's an investigator. You know what? Let's just let him tell it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bring up Andy now. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Happening?
Sorry, I had to get a little bit of that out in my little monologue there.
Gotcha.
I'll tell you what. I'll send you that picture.
Yeah, that's awful, man.
Dude.
That
so
is awful.
I was told that he was kicked off the premises, and not only that, but the power went out for 6 blocks during an altercation with this individual with some people.
Well, lovely.
So just be on the lookout. JC, if you're watching in the background, you are not allowed on my show. So, I mean, there it is. There's a lot of people out there that I love and respect.
That's right.
There's some people, like, that's somebody's son or daughter or mother or father that's in this backpack.
Exactly.
We don't tolerate it. What we do tolerate is good times hanging out, meeting new people.
That's right.
So, Andy, tell everybody just a little bit about yourself. How'd you get into paranormal?
Well, I grew up in Shenandoah Valley, Virginia, down a little town, Strasburg.
Yep.
So my grandparents, they gave my parents property to build on for their wedding anniversary, which was right beside them. But we were roughly south about 3.5 miles from the Battle of Cedar Creek, where it happened at.
Right.
And so roughly what happened was at a young age, like 3-4 years old, Jerry Swoop, we had a Confederate ammunition dump actually on the property that was right behind my house.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, when I was 3-4 years old, there was a field in between me and my house and my grandparents' house.
Right.
And my grandfather would come in late at night, from work, 2-3 in the morning, and they would cut on this big floodlight. And I'd get up and look out the window, just being a 3-4-year-old. And, but I would always see stuff like off in the shadows and stuff like that, kind of walking. Well, then it got to be, I'd wake up when the light wasn't on and I would see things passing by in between my house and my grandparents. And, the more I thought about it, I could see knapsacks and I could see, sometimes I wouldn't see full bodies. I mean, it was always shadowy. It was nothing, like that. And I'd wake up the parents and the old man would run out with shotgun, and grandfather, they'd call him and they'd both go looking. And after about 2 or 3 times, they started worrying that maybe old Andy wasn't too together. So, but seriously, they did. They took me to psychiatrists. They took me, I had a brain scan done. Finally, my grandmother finally stepped in, and she is gifted, and said, well, maybe he's seeing this, maybe he's really seeing this stuff. And I knew I was. I knew I wasn't, just imagining it. I mean, it was, but I didn't understand it. So, growing up, luckily to be able to grow up beside her, she's still alive at 103 years old.
Oh, wow.
She's still smart as a tack or sharp as a tack, I should say. And, we still talk about things like that. It's really crazy to hear her talk about remembering going to funerals as a little girl and seeing people buried in their Civil War and their Union or Confederate, uniforms. And so anyhow, as I got older, I ended up running into, I always had an interest in Bigfoot and stuff like that and anything paranormal. And my parents bought into this like campground, like full-time time. It wasn't a timeshare. We could stay there year round.
Yeah.
And I met a guy from Fredericksburg, Virginia when I was 14. And we met over music because I'm a drummer and he was a guitarist. And so more talking around the campfire one night, we, was trying to tell ghost stories. And he says, well, shit, man, I grew up in my house that I'm in Fredericksburg was used as an officer's quarters for the Battle of Fredericksburg. I have stuff happening all the time. So then I told him about my experience. So then him and I, we would go to, well, to be honest, there was an old house like down from the campground. We'd have to take the railroad tracks. And we used it, man, at first just to have the girls go with us. So they would hang on us and stuff like that.
Right.
And, but I bought one of these tape recorders, man. Fredericksburg, Virginia. And I bought one of these tape recorders that you had to push play and record at the same time. And we left it in the house one night to run I forget if it was like 60 minutes one side maybe or something.
Yeah.
Next day,
sounds about right.
Or later on that night, we went back there and didn't really listen to it until we was walking. And we started listening, and you can hear after we walked out of the house, I mean, just had an old screen door, was about half off, you hear us kind of shut that. And next thing I know, I hear this guy talking, and I'm looking at Carl and I'm like, come on, man,
Right, quit it. Right.
And we're both looking at it, listening, and you hear a woman kind of mumbling, but you never heard any kind of footsteps, no nothing. And then, so we kept going back there and trying taking pictures, and we'd get maybe, what we would call now, I guess, misty kind of stuff like that. But we never said, that's paranormal, but it was always weird that it was in one spot, not somewhere else.
Right.
And, so we ended up, man, turned 16, and we heard about these people that were going to be speaking at the Amanda at the
have you seen my rock?
That's cool.
Sorry. That was for Amanda.
Right. But ended up, man, going up to Staten Island, and it was the first place that we drove up to and listened to people talk. And it was these two people, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Oh,
and we were 16, 17. Carl's a little bit older than I was. But what was crazy about it was that was the first time we realized that there was that they had all this crap, man, out on this table with wires and shit there, and that's when we realized that there was literally people that did this, and that just hooked us, man, at that point. But what hooked us the most is the way they were helping people. And so I always said, because, man, up until probably the last couple of years, the way that I was treated by my own family really had an impact on my life a lot, man, just to, feeling like I wouldn't be, like I always had to prove myself or something.
I think I think all of us kind of go through
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I get it.
So yes, that's what got me into it was, and then like I said, I traveled a whole bunch when I was younger, following bands and stuff, but I would always stop at any place that I could stop at, man, that had spookiness about it, and was haunted, and I was blessed to be able to do all that stuff. But from that,
Right.
but from that point, I got in with I went to a church and ended up meeting a guy that did work, for the church and stuff like that. And, I'm still lucky to be in that part of it. I work
Right.
with Mike Ross. He's part of the, well, he just actually went out on his own, but he was a sanctioned exorcist for the St. Michael's Order.
Okay.
And so I've done a lot of that, done a lot of classes. Jeremy Leonard, I actually am on his Cajun ministry team and stuff like that. And
That's my buddy right there, Jeremy.
yeah, Jeremy's a trip, man. But
Oh yeah.
But yes, so I mean, I've always done it. Sure, I go to the big, pay and play places and stuff like that. But the biggest thing is I like, I still do a lot of residential stuff. I mean, since I moved up here to PA now, I'm starting to get back into the clique of, getting myself out there, and other people now up here in PA that are actually
Right.
joining me and stuff like that. So, but it's something I do every day because I run Ghost City tours in Gettysburg. So
And we're definitely going to talk about that in more detail. But I do want to do a little side note
sure.
that probably nobody will really give a damn about this but you and me. But I am also a drummer.
Nice.
My last set was a PDP double drive, and
That's what mine is. I still got a PDP kit.
I see. I knew I liked you. Now it's some sort of monstrous conglomeration of like a bunch of stuff. However,
Right.
it started life as a PDP double drive, so I knew I liked you.
Yeah, I got an 8-piece that's single, but I got the old Ghost pedal though. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying? Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah. Sorry, that was a sidetrack, man. The
right.
drummer. You said drummer, and I'm like, yes, I knew it.
Yeah, PDP's nice kit, man.
Yeah, they're great kits. I mean, my very first kit was a Pearl import series. Very nice. I loved it, but it was just too nice to like go on tour with.
Right.
So, and at the time, PDP were just a little bit cheaper, and I didn't mind it getting But boy, did I learned my lesson. PDP, y'all. If you're a drummer out there and you're looking for something, Pearl's great. Good construction, great sound. The price is a little up there. The PDPs, really good
It's
drums.
roadworthy, man.
Yeah, it's very roadworthy. Sorry, sidetrack. Let's get back to some spooky shit, shall we? But yeah, so yeah, let's talk about the tours. Tell us just a little bit about like how did you? So when you moved, hey Donna. So whenever you moved up, you started this tour, or was it something that you started back home and then?
No. This is actually I work for a company. Yeah. So when I moved up here, I was still working in Virginia, and it was about a 50 to 60-minute drive one way. And so I kind of started looking into things, and I put my resume on Indeed, and it asked like, what's some of your hobbies and stuff. And I'm still on the Virginia Paranormal. We call it Virginia Paranormal Assembly, but we started it way back, man, in the day where we tried to, put out well, back then it was actually putting it up like in the phone book and stuff.
Right.
We tried to get stuff. What it was, we tried to get as many teams from the area, in Virginia, that if somebody was looking for some help, we could go right to it and say, well, here, this team's 10 minutes from you, and so I'd put that down that I was, part of that still. And I got a phone call I didn't get a phone call. I got an email to call a number about a job, and talked to the owner, and he just said, introduced himself, and he said, I live right he grew up outside of Gettysburg, and so he says, my corporate office is in New Orleans. I have 26 other stores, or 26 other tours.
Right.
And he said he wanted to really open something up. Gettysburg has been the place that he's always wanted to do. That's where the dream started,
Got it.
And I want somebody, he said, that's both paranormal educated, but also somebody that, is understands the history and how important that is. He's very much respected. He respects the history, man, even more than the paranormal in Gettysburg. And so we talked about it, ended up laughing and stuff like that. I ended up going in and meeting who would be my boss at the time, and rest is history, man. So I've been running it ever since they opened I started last March, so I'm about a year into it now.
Okay.
But we're right on the square there in Gettysburg with a big roundabout. We're actually renting off of the Freemasons. They're right above us. So that gets interesting sometimes. And
those bastards.
Yep. Really cool guys, man, But yeah, they do a lot with us. They come down. They actually let us go up. You probably know better than I do, but the guy that runs the whole deal up there, I guess, in that chapter.
Yeah, the worshipful master.
There you go. That's him.
Yeah.
And he came down, and Matt came down and said, hey, do you investigate? I said, oh, yeah. And he said, for my wife's birthday, I want to give her, investigation because she's in the paranormal. And I said, well, where do you want to go? He said, oh, we'll just go upstairs. And I was like, oh, yes. And it ended up being a pretty decent night, and but yeah, so we started out just with tours, man. We pretty much do the first day of battle. They walk around town and they show a lot of the places that were used for makeshift hospitals. They tell a little bit of modern stuff that's happening. There's actually a murder in Gettysburg, like back in the late 70s, early 80s, somewhere around that. They talk about that because that's a really haunted apartment that, from my understanding.
Okay.
So they tell that on the tour, but then, they take them by cemetery and, do all the spooky stuff. But it's about 70% history and about 30% paranormal. And yeah.
And, I kind of like that ratio. The whole, I got into paranormal because my grandfather came back to visit me after he died. Fun.
Nice.
But then when, I started getting into it and you learn the history. And here's the thing. Once you get a decent reputation, people just hand you the keys to these old 200-year-old buildings. And they're like, here you go. I mean, how cool is that to learn the history through the paranormal? And so, I mean, I like it when it's both. If it's just paranormal, cool, that's fine. But when you can learn the history and then you can, especially if you get names of people, that makes like with Supernatural Inc. We specialize in ITC, so spirit boxes and whatnot. So it makes it a little bit cooler if you know somebody's name and it comes to the box. It just makes it even better, and you connect with history. So that's awesome. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what, when we come up to Gettysburg Bash, I think maybe we'll have to take your the tour there. I think
we'll go. Last year, a bunch of us, like the night before, got there and we all took off and went on went on one, and it was pretty cool. It was a group of us, and we had a blast. And that was actually, to be honest, the first time I ever took. We do two different tours. We do one that's family friendly, that's not as
spooky,
gruesome as the other one. Well, I mean, it's still spooky, but they don't tell a lot of the. We have a church that was used as a hospital, and it was so, it was so much nastiness that was going on. They were up in the chapel doing surgeries and whatever. And then so this everything that you can believe that would leak, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Was going into the basement and actually clogged up, I guess, that had like a trough in the basement that would go out, to whatever out, I guess, whatever kind of septic, if they had that at that point or whatever. And all that got clogged up. And so it got to be about an ankle deep or a little more.
Mm-hmm.
And they had taken this Union kid prisoner. So they were making him drag the things down there, or they were making him take the pieces down there. I mean,
Right.
but he was underneath all of that getting dripped on. And it was so much coming through there within like, no time at all. He literally walked right out of the church away from the, being captured, because they couldn't even tell what uniform he had on. And that's the story that we tell. And we don't tell that really a whole lot on Family Friendly, you know what I'm saying? But
Understood.
things like that are cool. We go by a cemetery. That's a cool story, because some idiots, we'll just say that they built onto a building with a cemetery behind it, and they moved just the headstones.
Fair.
And they ask why they want us to investigate it, because they're having.
I don't understand what could have gone wrong.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie The Shining?
Right.
Yeah, just saying. Yeah. So, anything that's built over graves, come on. They have given you movies to tell you. Anyway.
Poltergeist.
That's another good one. That built on a burial ground. Yes.
But no, it's really cool, because I get to, what I like the most outside of the paranormal part of it is that I get to network people, to come in and set up in my store, like paranormal teams, guys that I know, gals that I know, that normally wouldn't get, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
Wouldn't get the publicity, or wouldn't get, the advertisement, because whenever I have somebody in there, we put it on our national website, and then we put it in the local, Destination Gettysburg, which is a huge, outfit, Gettysburg. And so I try to get, friends of mine, whoever that I can put in there that deserve it, that do good work, but they kind of keep on the down low,
Right. Yeah.
And like I carry a couple different guys that'll be at the bash that have been friends of mine, like, Ernie Atwell, and I carry his books, and he comes in and does meet, greet, and signs, books. And man, we get, like this past weekend, we had Harrisburg Paranormal in, and they, I got a little event room on the side of it, and they, brought in their laptop, hooked into my projector, and showed, people. Had a lot of people, man, 20, 30 people showed up just to sit and watch them.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about, man. We even he pushes us to use local artists and local, sell the products we have in there. We have our own t-shirt line.
Right.
But outside of that, like jewelry or, resin art and paintings and stuff, all that, man, is local people. And that's kind of what, we want to do, what it should be about, community.
Yeah, I agree. That's super important, especially like you said, the people that kind of stay on the quiet side, or whatever. There are some great people that nobody's ever heard of, and I love what you're doing, putting them out there and giving them a platform. That was the whole premise of me doing a podcast too. Put people out there that deserve it, and so that's very honorable.
Yeah, and I know most of them would do it for me. Right. And have, but, and we're looking to get probably, man, we're looking at 2 different spots now. The boss wants to rent a place full time that we can sell investigations as well.
Okay.
That's kind of how he got the, company started. He was going places like Penhurst. Well, he did Old Pittsburgh Hospital a lot.
Yep.
He would go rent it for a week, and then he would sell tickets each night, and built up a little bit of money, and ended up getting his storefront there in New Orleans. And he said, well, he was pretty much using it to back up his hobby of investigating. And one store went into another one and into another one. And Then he bought out a couple other tour companies that have places. We're all the way out on the West Coast, Texas, man, Tombstone. We're in Salem. We just opened up another one in DC. Well, it's been there. Everywhere, Louisville, just about anywhere that there's something, haunted. Savannah.
What's the website? I'll pull it up and
Ghost
screen
City
share.
Tours. And something even pretty cooler is we're actually working on a TV show now.
Oh,
yeah.
Tell us what you can about that.
Well, he's a pilot, and he started out down in New Orleans. And what it is, he kind of talks about how the non-conventional way he does of running a company and how it's worked for him, and grossed about 24 last year million.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, but anyway, what he does is it started out that it was a little bit of drama in with it and stuff, like funny drama.
Right.
But what it is he's taking people out of his stores that never investigated, and he's taking them and giving them a crash course in investigating. And like the one he did in New Orleans, he took them out on this island that had a lot of Native American ties to it. And he ended up kind of giving them equipment, showing them how it used, and then kind of walked away from them, and let them investigate.
Yeah.
And there's some of it, like, they have one guy that's gay. That doesn't mean anything, but he's definitely flamboyant. So you can imagine he gets scared and is running, with his hands. I need an Uber, and stuff like that,
Right.
And, but then in the long run, what he's doing is trying to show, investigate that, then the seasoned people would come in behind them and check it out, whatever they claim that they got. And what he's trying to do, man, is take away some of the honestly bullshit that people say is paranormal, and just show that a lot of times, people that are new in it and stuff, they're gonna what did he say? Every fart, knock, and
right,
burp, isn't paranormal, and but once he sent that pilot out to the networks, they got back to him and said, hey, we really like what you got going on, but we want to see more investigating. So next month in Gettysburg, so it should be fun. I don't know where we're investigating yet, but I know that Cashtown and a couple of those places have been mentioned. So,
oh, sweet.
But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun because he's a really, man. Yeah, Tim, the owner, you would never know if you met him, man, that he was, owner of such a big company. He's every other word's F this and F that, and
my kind of fella.
Good old boy. That's right.
Right.
And blue jeans, t-shirt, and a hat, man. And if I wouldn't have known him when he came in the first time, if it wouldn't have been, I'd seen him in meetings online, And but yeah, he's an awesome guy, man. And he's given me a really good opportunity. And for somebody to trust me with such a big job so far away from New Orleans and stuff,
right.
I feel pretty blessed to have that. And it keeps the paranormal, it keeps me excited. You know how sometimes you just can get in a funky, like, God, I don't even want to go investigate tonight.
100% understand.
Yeah. And but this keeps me going because people come in and they've taken pictures on our tour the night before and they want you to look at them. And
yeah,
a lot of people, when you're standing face to face with them and you explain to them that it's not paranormal, if you have a good reason. I mean, I'm no expert, you know what I'm saying? And
all right, yeah.
But a lot of them will understand and really appreciate it. And then next thing you know, they're buying a piece of equipment off of us or something because they want to get deeper into it. And
yep.
I've had a couple people that were really cool that talked to them for a little bit, end up getting off work, and they'd meet us and we'd take them down to Sykes Bridge or somewhere like that, man. And and that's what he's about too. Just we have a lot of charismatic people that work for us, man. So when they give tours, they dress up, period clothing,
awesome.
and they,
yeah.
I've got a Major Finn that works for me, and Johnny Rebel that works for me, and and
Yeah,
it's really cool because they get in character, man, and people just love that shit,
dude.
and
Yeah, that's
and we
oh
we just got voted number 2 in the United States for by USA Today, did a People's Choice.
yeah.
We came in as a company. We come in number 2 in the United States.
Well, who's number one?
Someplace in Hawaii.
Okay,
Yeah, I don't want to say we were better, but what I will say is remember when the tragedy happened in Hawaii?
right.
That it was about that time that came out. So I think a lot of people probably voted. I even voted for Hawaii too, because they get a boost and get some people in there, man, that, get that
Right.
income, get that economy in that little town back to going. But it was an honor, man, to be able to do that. And then we all obviously have the Battlefield Park Guides, is one of the tours in town, or and they're
Yeah.
the big dogs,
Right.
But I've got one of their wives works for me. So last year on TripAdvisor, 1 week we'd be number 1 tour, and the next week they'd be number 1. So, it was
That
pretty.
makes it fun, though.
It is. They love
That's
it, man. They love it.
friendly competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we got other people in town that are buttheads that have tours, and they want to make it all about nasty competition. And it's kind of cool because everybody else is kind of downtown, and we're up in the away from everybody. And,
Right.
but we have friends also with other tours in town that, offer a little bit different than what we have. And so if somebody's looking to go in somewhere instead of walk the street, then we send them to them, and vice versa. And
Well, in a place like Gettysburg, man, there's plenty to go around. There shouldn't be like button heads and territory and
yeah, it's not worth it.
no, it's not. I mean, there's plenty. You could just like focus on one small part of the battlefield
Mm-hmm.
and look. There's so much. Like I don't get the whole competition. Now competition's good. I like
Yeah.
competition, but not slanderous competition.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some of that here. And there's a couple of ghost tours in the town next to me, and it's just I don't do any of them. I don't. It's nasty.
What town's that?
It's Greenville, South Carolina.
Yes, I think closest to you was Savannah, maybe.
I could be Savannah in like 4.5, 5 hours.
Yeah, it's Savannah. I don't know what. I think we just opened one up in Charlotte, but
Charlotte's an hour and a half from me.
Like I said, they have like how can I put it? Like they have revelry tours, and also I can't remember what the other name of what tour it is that they have, but it's also Ghost City, like they're underneath of us, LLC,
Right.
But yeah, the guy's got it together, man. He's all about making people happy, man, and giving them a really good historical fun time. Not as much, I've seen him, I've heard stories of like where the tour guide didn't show up on time, so people are waiting in the store, and he told people like, we're allowed to take 25 people, and that's the most that the borough allows. And but he says looks at the people in line, they're still waiting, and he said, everybody go in and pick a t-shirt out, and gave them all a free t-shirt because they had to wait 10, 15 extra minutes. That's the type of guy that is, man,
Yeah.
And, so you want to work for somebody like that. You want to, drive what he's driving, you know what I mean? That kind of deal. And
right.
So I look forward to spending a couple weeks with him next month. And
well, it makes it easier when you're in a working environment and you're working for somebody you admire and can look up to and learn from.
Exactly.
It almost goes from work to this is not work. That I get to do this for a living. Are you serious? Kind of thing.
Exactly. Yep.
I got to give a quick shout out here, real quick. Country Jarhead. Is that you, Chris? If not, Semper Fi Jarhead. Sorry, had to throw that out there.
Are you good?
But man, that's yeah. I'm coming up. We're gonna take a tour. It's gonna happen.
We'll do it. We'll do
yeah.
it. We'll sneak
Well, I
on.
think we're gonna have 3 days of nothing but fun.
There we go. Oh, you will with that. You will with the dash, man.
Yeah, and let us know in the comments if you guys are planning on coming up to the bash. I'll be there with my wife and a couple of other people. We are not. I'm not. Nothing. I'm just an attendee there. So come hang out with us, definitely. But let us know in the comments. And if you're not coming, yes, you are. You're coming. I don't care what you're doing.
Yeah, but the cause of it, man, that's what it's all about, brother. Yeah.
Yeah, and let's get into that. So you know them better than I do. I just met them. But so if you want to talk a little bit about the cause and of Gettysburg Bash.
Well, I can tell you, man, I met Pam and Steve Barry. I met Pam and Steve Barry probably 20 years ago. I'm going to say easily. There he is. I just said your name there, Steven. You know what I'm saying, right there?
I have mentioned your name a couple times.
Yeah, I don't know if he's talking about me or you or both of us, you know.
He'll forget in 5 minutes.
That's right. You know, he'll be, he's probably already forgotten by now. You know what I mean? It's over with.
Right.
But no, Pam and Steve, man, they've done a lot for the community, the paranormal community especially. One thing is, man, that I do want to say is Steve is building equipment now. And I tell you, man, that's some of the
yes, it is.
Some of the stuff that I have seen, especially this new piece, the pyramid. I can't remember what he calls it now, but the whole premise is, man, that it's like a REM pod, right. But when the EMF sets it off, this thing shoots a laser out grid. Yeah, man, it's badass.
Okay.
And so, I mean, and it cuts on this grid in the same area that, you know, whichever side that has been set off, and shoots a grid out, man. So, I mean, obviously, if there's something close enough to set the EMF off on it, the laser's going to catch it, you know. And that's something, man, that is, you know, I've never seen that on anything. Monolith. There you go.
I didn't get to see that, Steven, when I was up there, but I got to see all the cool dragon.
He just finished it over the weekend, I think. It was something like that, because I was over there with him when he was just finishing, you know, the print of it and stuff.
Yeah, but, that's super cool.
But yeah, man, it's what's cool is they've always carried stuff and stood behind their, you know, their equipment and stuff like that. I'll tell you the story when I first went into the Gettysburg Exchange, Ghost Exchange. They were in a little place, little building. I found out where it was at. Went in, met Pam, met Steve. I told Pam I was bringing my team up from Virginia. And she's like, well, hey, come up. Let me know before you get here. I'll make some cookies and have some drinks. And you come in and I'll tell you where the hot spots are. And I'll tell you where, you know, some story. And I mean, these people didn't know me from nothing, man. And were that open to help us, you know, try to. So it was awesome. I bought some stuff over the years off of them and stuff when I can afford it, period. Even if it's not from them, but they
get it.
Choice, you know. And but then I learned, you know, the more I came into town, the more I got to know them, the more I found out I had friends mutual with them. But they're family to me, man. They're, you know, there's nothing like it. I mean, I literally lived 2 miles from the Hoover House, and that was one huge reason that I moved up here, because of them, you know, just to be closer, because whenever I'd come up and stay a weekend or something, man, it was almost like I had to pry myself out the door to go back to Virginia, because I had to,
you know, excuse me, I had that problem too when I was up there for those 2 days. You know, the hotel I was staying at was right across the road. Well, not at 8 o'clock. I'm like, all right, bye, everybody, bye. And I went over to the hotel room and I sat there for like 15 minutes going, I really need to go back over there. So I go back over. Like, you just can't stay away from
Yeah.
the house, the energy of that house, the Hoover house. If you get a chance, go. It's a B&B. I hear Pam makes excellent breakfasts.
Oh
Check it
man,
out. And
French
then
toast.
two, just the way that Pam and Steve are. Like,
Yeah,
I felt just on that first night, I felt like family. Like,
exactly.
they didn't know me from Adam. Oh,
Yep.
matter of fact, I think Pam wanted to punch me in the face before she knew who I was. Different story. We'll talk about that later. But I mean, just the greatest down to earth people. Love the paranormal. Love helping others. Love helping veterans.
Yes. And that's
And
what the whole Gettysburg Battlefield Bash is, man. It's given to the Pennsylvania Wounded Warriors. And Brandon, he said
I
you
am.
have a
Yep.
karaoke contest.
I'm doing Vanilla Ice. So if y'all want to see me do Ice Ice Baby,
You need
come up to the
backup
bash.
dancers.
I'm gonna need plenty. You got me,
I'm with you. Yep,
my
I
man.
got you,
I'll tell you what. I might even buy a gnome, the full gnome outfit,
dude.
and I might sing Ice Ice Baby in a gnome outfit.
I can hook you up. Don't worry about that.
Okay, fair, done, got it.
Okay.
All
I'll
right.
put it to you this way: just bring you a pair of bib overalls.
Okay, all
I know
right.
you got some.
I do, of course, I do. I'm from
Yeah,
South
that's what I
Carolina.
went for Halloween this year. As I sat outside Ghost City with a pair of bibs on, like an old purple shirt, and then
Yep.
I thought it was a Santa Claus mask, but it looked like a gnome, man. And then I put this gnome hat on,
Okay.
and I just
All
sat
right.
out,
Done.
man, and kids were walking by. I never had a clue that I had candy sitting on the bench beside me, so they just
Right.
come up and get it, and I'd wait until they had a handful, and I'd say, enjoy it. And they'd, man, candy'd go everywhere and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, it's so much fun. Oh,
Exactly. But I don't know, Stacy, what do you want me to sing? You know?
right. It's
What
good.
was
It's
that?
gonna be.
What's that country song? Kiss the lips that chewed my ass out all night long. You ever
I
heard
know.
that
Yeah.
song?
That I like that one.
Yeah. But no, man, the Berries are super. They're family to me, man. I would, I've supported them and would continue to do that. And I'm welcome in their house as well as they are mine. They've been through a lot of stuff with me, the same on the other side. And I've learned so much from them. But I tell you, man, before I moved up here, just to say this, before I moved up here from Virginia, it was the same. How can I put it? Oh, Stacey said she's going to pick my
I know.
song.
I saw that. That would be dangerous.
Yeah, but biggest thing is, man, with Pam and Steve and Stacy being another one.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't that I didn't love myself or I had some shadow work to do and stuff like that. Stacy and I, that's what our podcast is about and stuff. And but moving up here and being around such people that you can screw up, man, or you can do something, that they may not be 100% agreement with you, but they
Yep.
support you either way. Pam has always, man, both of them, Pam and Steve, both have always been there to listen to me whine and, and bitch about stuff and everything from relationships with women to some of the paranormal bull crap. And,
Right.
and the thing is, man, they're always, always lending a hand out to somebody.
And I'll tell you too, they're very honest and open people. I had
Exactly.
heard some things about some stuff, and I straight up asked about it. And what kind of response did I get? A straight up honest answer. These people are honest. These people are telling the truth. These people are
Exactly.
my family now.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's just the type of people, and the fact that they want to give back to veterans.
Yep.
Oh, and have a passion to do so.
Yep. Yep.
Is obviously that's a soft spot in my heart. Oh,
Yep.
but I mean, it's just amazing. Gettysburg Bash, everybody. Tracy, yes, I'm pretty sure there'll be AC. It's going to be like some of it's inside, I think,
All of
this
it's
year.
inside.
Yeah, so come on up, Tracy. Don't
Yeah,
worry
they
about the
have.
heat.
Yeah, it's going to be at the Eisenhower Hotel and the Aspire, but they're connected, kind of with this really cool little hallway and this and that. But the thing is, they have two huge, open areas to have vendors. Well, one's going to be vendors, and the other one, it looks like, from my understanding, is going to be a professional wrestling ring. Is going to be in there. Yeah, you didn't know that?
I,
I guess
I,
that's still going. I don't want to talk out of place because
well, I do want to say that I still have a South Carolina wrestling license.
uh-oh.
I did the indie circuit, so
But
yep.
no, Gene Snitsky, if you know who he is, uh,
I've heard that name. I don't know
he
personally.
just started back in the what is it, WWF now or
Yeah,
WWE or whatever. So
yep.
he was with them, and then he ended up just I don't want to say I don't know why he left, if it was contract or age or something, but
Right.
anyway, he's always been a supporter of the Bash and always showed up to do autographs and stuff like that. Well, now he's back to wrestling again, and I guess that he told some of his buddies that what the Bash is about, and a lot of them wanted to get involved, and so I understand, and that's
That's awesome.
what it's all about. And
Anne Marie, that would be July 26th, 27th, and 28th.
yep, you should come. And it's
So,
cheap.
enough about Steve and them, especially Steve. Let's talk more about you. Let's talk about your podcast that you got with Stacy. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so we
Come
Stacy
on, Chris.
started out. I met Stacy about a year and a little rough year and a couple months ago at the Hoover House.
Mm-hmm.
And her and I straight up bonded like right from the get-go, like like a missing sister or something, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yep.
And
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know.
so from that point on, man, we kept in touch, started doing more stuff. Her and Gary. Gary loves cryptid stuff, especially Bigfoot. So anyway, between Pam, Steve, and Stacy and a few other people, man, they really brought me out of that funk that I was in of not loving myself like I should,
Right.
not setting boundaries, stuff like that. And Stacy was on my ass about that and kept on it, and also she is, she's gifted and reads tarot and is psychic. Yep. And I offered her to come in and do readings at the store actually when she wants to, and she has supported, that company, especially my branch, like crazy. And but she did a podcast, man, and I was excited for her and started Becoming Enchanted is the name of it. And she started it, had one or two shows, and then she invited me to come on. And
Right.
so I came on as a guest, and we talked about shadow work, but we also talked a whole lot of what my theory was, what my thought was on why the paranormal field is so out of whack right now, and what the drama might be a call, this and that, and
Right.
just my thoughts. And I'll be speaking at the Bash, and I think that's probably what I'm kind of going to talk about is like energy work and stuff like that. But anyway, we got a big we had a big night, like a lot of people tuned in. And so after a couple conversations, it didn't take much for her to ask me to co-host with her. And I thought it was going to be for a couple shows and stuff like that. And next thing I know, she's adding my name to the wall. And next thing I know,
Yep.
her co-host, and rest is history, man. She's love her with everything I got, and good people, man. And so she's taught me a whole lot, man, about shadow work and exactly. She said our energy just clicked. That's exactly what happened. And but what it comes down to is she's considered, she does Reiki. She's a Reiki master, and stuff like that. And me, I'm a kind of a Christian guy, and you know what I'm saying. But I'm very wide open to everything.
Right.
Listen, and I respect everybody's view on faith or no faith or whatever they practice, man. As long as it's not hurting others, you know, then I'm all about it. I think that when people go in to help people in paranormal situations, I think that it's the intent,
Yep.
you know, that
Yep.
that's behind it just as much as it is whatever entity or entities that you might be, you know, that you consider your faith or whatever.
Right. Well,
So
it takes all kinds, man. You
exactly.
know, and see, I'm rooted in the Christian faith, not the church. Let me get this
Amen.
straight.
I'm with you.
I believe in Jesus. He died for my sins. I believe in God. I do not believe in the church. So, you
You and
know,
I are at the same level.
yeah. Uh, but
Exactly.
but if you are not a whatever you want to call the belief system that we have, I don't care. As long as like you said, the intent's there, the willingness to help. Because it's sometimes, you have a Christian family that they don't want to deal with the Wiccan or the other side. Okay, great.
Exactly.
I know a guy. We got somebody. Or the opposite. You have an atheist family. Maybe they do want to deal with the Wiccans or the Druid or the shamanics or whatever. And it's okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a team in Virginia, man, that we had you know, a lot of Christians, but then it was also thanks Stacy for sharing that because I couldn't figure it out. But I had two gals that were pagan. Uh
Mhm.
and that was pretty, I noticed that it was pretty all right to be able to go into a house, talk to the client, and then say, okay, how do you want us to handle it? You know, I've got, you know, we're, you know, half of us are Christians and do it this way. And
Yep.
then the other half, then we got two people that are pagans, they do it their way. Do you want a mix of both? Whatever we can do, we're here to help you. And it was
Yep.
always, it usually worked out because, you know, you leave it up to the client. We, you know, when the gals were doing their pagan ritual, we would support them, but we would leave and go outside or something. So that
Right.
way, the way we looked at it was if you have somebody not of the same faith or practice that's there, we think that might take a little bit of the oomph off of it. You know what
Could
I'm
be.
saying?
Could be.
That's
Yeah.
theory, and you know, but then
Right.
we would do, you know, then if we went in and they wanted it more in prayer and cleansing and stuff, you know, our way, you know, the girls would go outside. Sometimes they would help us, but most of the time they respected what we were doing and didn't want, it was all about the client, man, helping the people.
Right. And
And
that's and I like that when you can just go in, put all your cards on the table to
mhm,
the client and be like, listen, this is everything we offer. Whatever you choose, we will do. And
exactly.
there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah. And
And
that's,
we got about 2 minutes. I can't tell how many minutes left. About 2 minutes left. Oh, unfortunately, everybody, I'm having to cut my shows to an hour because
yeah,
this is the busy season for me. Um,
I
I
understand.
do want to thank you for coming on. Go ahead and tell everybody all of your socials, where they can find you, and all that good stuff.
Well, you can look me up on definitely Becoming Enchanted on the podcast, or under Andy Andrews on Facebook. Also, um, Vapor Paranormal. That's VAPOR. And we're out of Virginia. So there's a couple vapors that are out there that spell it a little bit differently, stuff like that. But you definitely hit me up on that. myrealparanormal@gmail.com. That is, you know, always looking at that every day to make sure it always lets me know. You know, Amanda's a good friend. She is usually around with me too. She's has some awesome dolls to check out, guys. So
Nope.
you don't like that, huh?
No.
but but yeah, but yeah, that's how you can do it. And then Ghost City Tours, man. If you're in Gettysburg, where the Lincoln statue is on the square, the roundabout, my front door is right on the other side of that. And I would like to extend the offer that if there's any teams, man, I can't pay anybody, but I will give you as much national and local, advertising I can. But if somebody wants to ever come in and set up and just do a meet and greet, bring their merch if they want to, tell people what you're about. The store is open to you to do that. No charge to do it. Like I said, I can't pay, but it's we have foot traffic out to Yin Yang because we're right there in the heart of things, and it's nothing to see 200 to 300 people a day come in and out. So would love to do that with any of the people.
That's awesome. And I do want to give a quick shout out to Country Jarhead. It is my man Chris. Chris and I served in Iraq together.
Thank you, guys.
So yeah, really good dude. Thank you for tuning in. Matter of fact, Chris, I'm gonna call you tomorrow. I believe that's it. Everybody, there's a lot of people that were in the chats that are saying they're coming up to Gettysburg Bash. So what we're gonna do, everybody, we're gonna meet up and we're gonna see how many people we can fit into Andy's business.
I'm game.
I mean, we're gonna flood it, y'all. We're going to do this, and then we're going to go to the Gettysburg Bash, and we're going to have a blast. We're going to do some karaoke. We're going to run around in some bib overalls with a gnome hat. I'm going to chase some stuff.
I got you.
It's going to be fun. Listen, Andy, it is my honor to have you on my show and to call you one of my friends. It was great.
Absolutely, brother.
Meeting you. And I always end my show with the same saying. I wonder if you were in Iraq with. I think Rich and I weren't boots on ground in Iraq together. I was there in 03 for the invasion, so probably. I like to end my show with the same saying, Andy. Hopefully, it means a little something to you. It means a lot to me. But I always say, it's not about surviving the storm, but it's how you dance in the rain that matters.
Absolutely, man.
Everybody, go check out Ghost City Tours. Check out Ghost City Tours, Gettysburg, and y'all, we're gonna fill up his store. We're gonna buy everything. I'm gonna buy his glasses. He won't be able to see the merchandise leaving the store, y'all.
Right.
Good night, everybody. Join me next week where my guest will be. I don't know yet because I haven't booked anybody. So, love each and every one of y'all. We'll see y'all next week.